What's going on, y'all? Today we got LeBron James just accomplished mouthful the impossible. Let's get into it, man.
He did it. After 20 NBA seasons, 1,410 games, 53,733 minutes, and 27,827 field goal attempts, LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points scored in NBA history. A statistical feat that's so impressive that it practically speaks for itself, as Kareem has held this record for nearly 40 years, and the only player who has come close is Karl Malone, and even after he played nearly 1,500 games in 20 seasons, he still fell over 1,000 points shy of breaking the record. The level of dominance, excellence, consistency, longevity, and overall scoring impact to be put in these conversations in and of itself is historic, and it should never be taken for granted. And it's important to acknowledge that, because what we are watching is not only greatness, it's not only historic, but I would dare call it impossible. And I say that because when you look deeper into the details, what you will quickly realize is that what LeBron just accomplished is even more impressive than what you originally thought. First, let's compare LeBron to the only two other players in NBA history to score over 35,000 points, and that's Karl Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. When doing so, you can quickly see that LeBron broke the record in fewer games and minutes than Kareem and Karl Malone, and even did so in fewer shot attempts in contrast to Kareem. And even though Karl Malone does have fewer shot attempts than LeBron, keep in mind that the scoring gap is roughly 1,500 points. But when it comes to just comparing LeBron to the person who actually held the record for nearly 40 years in Kareem, he was able to break the record in fewer games, minutes, and shot attempts. And as impressive as that is, I have no idea why so many people in the NBA community have a hard time contextualizing this. The foundation of why what LeBron was doing was so impressive could have easily been seen through their points per game average throughout their career. LeBron does have a higher points per game average than both Karl Malone and Kareem. So because his points per game average is higher, it makes a lot of sense that he was able to score more points in fewer games. So now that that is out the way, we can actually focus on the fact that LeBron in year 20, who was clocked in over 1,400 games, has a career average of over 27 points. To put that in context, throughout NBA history, there have only been 6 players who played over 1,000 games and still have a career average of 25 or better. Those 6 players are Kobe, Karl Malone, Oscar Robertson, LeBron James, Wilt Chamberlain, and Michael Jordan. And it's because of this statistical feat is the reason why what LeBron is doing is not only very impressive, but also it would allow him to set the bar so high that I believe no one, and I do mean no one, would come close to catching him. But hey, let's not spend that much time talking about projections and focus on what LeBron actually did, because once more, what he accomplished is way more impressive than what people realize. So we already established that LeBron passed Kareem in fewer games played, minutes, and even shot attempts. And another aspect of this amazing statistical feat is the fact that LeBron passed Kareem while playing in some of the slowest paced seasons in NBA history. Like I stated in my last video, pace is an overlooked concept, and I have no idea why so many people don't bring this up. The higher the pace means that there are more possessions, and the more possessions means that there's more opportunity for someone to score in. And when it comes to LeBron, he is at a severe disadvantage in contrast to Kareem. On your screen are the 30 fastest paced seasons in the NBA over the past 60 years. And now, all the seasons that are highlighted are the ones in which Kareem played in. Yes, Kareem played in 20 of the 30 years. Now, when it comes to LeBron, how many did he play in? Only 3. And what makes it even worse, in 2 of those 3 seasons, LeBron didn't even play that many games, because in 2019 he dealt with an injury, and in 2020 it was a shortened season due to COVID. Variables that are outside of his control, so he couldn't even fully take advantage of faster paced seasons. So now let's look at the other side of the spectrum. On your screen are the 30 slowest paced seasons in the NBA over the past 30 years, and now the ones that are highlighted are the ones in which Kareem played in. And as you can clearly see, none of them are highlighted. But now, here are the years in which LeBron played in. 16 of the 30 slowest paced seasons that LeBron had to play in. Objectively speaking, due to the variables outside of his control, LeBron being able to score this amount of points at this stage of his career is more difficult than what Kareem had to do. Now, I can already hear people in the comment section tell me how Kareem didn't have the privilege to play with a three-point line. Matter of fact, I've already heard this talking point from quite a few people.
Kareem's point total will be more impressive than LeBron's final point total, period, stop. Because LeBron James has made 2,207 three-point shots. The three-point shot wasn't available for the far majority of Kareem's career.
Sorry, I'm laughing because when you make a statement like this, it's almost as if like you don't understand how math works. A, the idea that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be a volume three-point shooter is hilarious. It's pure comedy. B, and I know this is going to be very difficult.
Kareem wasn't going to shoot those threes anyway. That's what I was thinking. That was I was thinking in my head. But
hypothetically a volume three-point shooter, more than likely he would actually score fewer points. If we were to take Kareem's career averages and kept them the same across the board, field goal and free throw attempts, the percentages on his two-pointers and free throws, everything is the same. The only thing we decided to do is out of his 18 shot attempts, 4 of them were three-pointers. And of those 4 three-pointers, he was converting them at a 35% clip. Mind you, this would make Kareem a better three-point shooter than LeBron, and yet he would still end his career with a lower point per game average. The reason for this is because Kareem was so prolific on his two-point shots that the only way that it would be justifiable for him to shoot threes at any volume is if he was able to convert his three-pointers at a 38% clip or higher, which again is just math, and I cannot believe I have to explain this to people. But even if that's not suffice for you, we can go to LeBron, look at all of his two-pointers, three-pointers, and free throws that he made throughout his career, turn all of his three-pointers into two-pointers, and keep his percentages across the board the exact same, total up the points, divide it by how many games he has played so far in his career, and you would clearly see that even if I turn all of the three-pointers that LeBron made in his career into two-pointers, that he would still have a higher point per game average for his career.
You feel what I'm saying?
Thus meaning that he would score more points in fewer games than Kareem. So how exactly is it possible that LeBron was able to do this if the three-point line is irrelevant? Well, A, we have free throws. Kareem really wasn't a free throw shooter when you compare him to the other 6 players who recorded over 30,000 points throughout their career. The captain is towards the bottom of the list when it comes to both free throws attempted and made. But just before people overreact to this, LeBron is also towards the bottom of the list, or roughly right in the middle, in both free throw attempts and made as well. However, a much bigger factor is just the consistent longevity of LeBron when it comes to this scoring production. See, LeBron was not the quickest player to 10, 20, or even 30,000 points. However, at some point in all of those players' careers, they started to see a steep regression in their scoring production, but for LeBron, that hasn't hit yet. LeBron is by far averaging the most points that we've ever seen anyone in year 18, 19, or 20. KD, Michael Jordan, and LeBron are the only 3 players in NBA history to average 20 points or better in every single season of their careers. LeBron holds the record for the most 25 point per game seasons. He also holds the record for the most 20 and 25 point games in NBA history, and is only a few more outings away for holding the most 30 point games, coming up second to only Michael Jordan. But possibly the most remarkable scoring feat from LeBron is that he holds the record for the most 10-point consecutive games in regular season history with 1,140 games. This means that the last time that LeBron has scored under 10 points in a regular season game dates all the way back to January 5th, 2007. So because of that level of consistent production in the last 2 to 3 years, what normally would end up happening to some of his competitors in terms of their scoring production, they would have years where they would produce 14, 15, or 20 points, similar to what we saw from Kareem in the last 3 years of his career. And because of that, what took Kareem over 200 games to produce in the last 3 years of his career, LeBron is producing similar amount of points in half the time. And because of the factor that LeBron is not seeing any noticeable regression in his scoring production, it's the reason why I can confidently tell you that LeBron will be able to comfortably pass the 40,000 mark. Looking at how he is scoring now, and even if he sees a slight regression in the next 2 more seasons, LeBron will be able to pass 40,000 points in the next season and a half. And depending on how much longer he wants to play, I could also see him pass the 45,000 mark as well. And yes, that sounds insane. It sounds crazy. It sounds impossible. But who would have ever thought that in year 20, at the age of 38, LeBron would still be averaging 30 points per game? And even with all of that being said, none of that takes into consideration that LeBron, unlike his scoring peers, still had a very prominent playmaking role throughout his career, so he wasn't privileged to have his focus be heavily tailored to just scoring like MJ, like Malone, like Kobe Bryant. He also had the responsibility to play make and set up his teammates as well, which resulted in him being top 5 in all-time assists. Also, we haven't even talked about postseason scoring. Not only does LeBron hold the record for the most points in playoff history, but also when you look at his postseason scoring average, he's top 6 all time, and that's including the ridiculous scoring runs that we've seen from Luka early on in his career. And even for the people who think that this is just a longevity conversation, we can look at the best 7-year stretch of all-time great scorers such as Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, Kareem, and compare them to LeBron. And as you can clearly see, outside of Michael Jordan, because my goodness, MJ, that's ridiculous. But outside of MJ, the difference is not even a point and a half. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about at their best or throughout their entire careers. LeBron James should always be in the conversation of being the greatest scorer of all time. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Please let me know what you think about the video in the comment section below. I want to give a huge shout out to LeBron James. It has been a privilege to watch every single meaningful moment in your career, and I thank you for your greatness. Also, for the people out there who want to see my thoughts on all the trades.
That's the end of this one, y'all. Man, that Bron record is something different. It's something different, man. You're going to continue to build upon it, to add more points to it. That boy going down in history, man. I don't know how far he is from the assist total. He's probably not gonna get to number 1 assist. I know John Stockton probably up there real high. You know, might get to number 2 though by the end of the career. You know, it's just things like that. My brothers and sisters, like, you feel what I'm saying? You get to the top of too many categories. What can they say? What can y'all say? You get to the top of too many categories. You know. Tell you, LeBron is going to retire as the GOAT. Yeah, see, yeah, it's happening before your eyes. Every other week there's a new something about Bron. I'm telling you, man, he's still got 7 years. Think about it. He said he want to play 7 more years. Don't hate on the greatness, just appreciate it, man. We living through it.